get started. Okay, gotta make sure I just float this on top in case I need to move anything around, and we will get going. Okay, so don't have anybody in yet, so let me go to Twitter and tweet this out. Just went live. Interact with us as we prepare for tonight's AMC update by drawing on the chart and building spreadsheets to give building a spreadsheet to give us a bigger picture on where we can expect the price to go. And we need to get the YouTube link, copy, see you in the stream, and Fox emoji. Where is it? There it is. Boom. All right, tweet was sent. Let's switch to my personal account to blast it out and see if we can get anybody to join us. Oh, somebody already liked it. That's good. I'm going to retweet that. Okay. And not that. Just went live. Who liked it? All mentions. Yeah, I don't think it shows me all notifications. Hi, it looks like we got somebody. Welcome. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start drawing. So, let me pop out the chat and feel free to completely interact. Like, we will go wherever you guys want to take it. So, I've got chat pulled up right here. I'm just gonna have it on another screen. So, okay, I was just checking to make sure my microphone's actually on. Lights on. All right. Okay, so let's. So if you for the one person I got watching right now, did you watch my video that I posted last night? Just curious. Oh, I should probably go to all chats. All right, well, in any case, for anybody that might be watching later as well, I'm going to zoom out to the day chart for AMC. Ken Barton, welcome. All right, so since this is your first time watching, let me cover kind of what I have out on the macro scale for the chart, and I've got a few drawings on here. So I'll just break this down. If you're going to be watching more of my videos, I'm going to try to keep things pretty consistent. So I gotta keep scaling this down to make it a bit more readable. All right. So all these gray points that I have here, 1095 is personally where my average is at. That's my average price per share that I bought into. And every gray line is an exponential double in my position. So 1095, 200 or 100% or plus 100%, 2190 plus 100% of that, 4380, 8760. So that way I can see what levels I'm looking at for exponential returns. So it's just kind of fun because the reason why I have all my stock or all my position inside of Fidelity, and just so I don't, just to protect myself psychologically, I don't look at my P&L. I have no because of the way I have these gray lines set up, it gives me a rough idea of how much profit that I'm at without actually seeing the numbers fluctuating. So that way I protect myself for when things get really, really crazy once this takes off. So these red lines to the left here are, I'll zoom in, well, zooming in there doesn't really help, but so this red line goes from the top of the candle in January's low of 191, and it's a top side trajectory that goes from the top of that candlestick to the top of the January gamma squeeze that we saw, so that way we can see like where things probably initially could have gone and where eventually we'll go back to. If you've watched any of the BAM Investors stuff, he calls this the speed line. So if you see him around on Twitter talking about that, that's what he has there. And eventually the price will want to get up to that eventually. And when he talks about like stuff that's like melting up, it melts up to a speed line of some sort. And the second and more recent speed line that we have goes from April 3rd. Goes from the low in April, the top of that candle, to what's currently our all-time high. Actually, this probably will look better on a 4-hour chart. Yeah, there we go, because now we have the after hours in there. So, looks like we got another viewer. Hi. Feel free to participate in the chat. We're just kind of doing this together. There'll be a polished up version of all this that I'll be posting later tonight. This kind of helps you get to know me a bit better, and it also, this gives you an opportunity to provide some input on where we'll actually take the video I'll be posting later tonight. That's going to be a bit more polished and have very clear talking points. So, let's see. So yeah, the difference between the thickness in these red lines is significant. The more recent a drawing is on this chart, the thicker I make it. To signify that this isn't as important and it doesn't hold as much weight on what we're seeing in the current price action as compared to this more recent speed line, which we will be testing first, because this is likely isn't going to be relevant until we can cross this anyways. So, and if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. I've got plenty of time to answer them. So, I don't have a job to get to or anything. I'm actually making this my job. I got laid off a couple weeks ago and figured that like, hey, if like these other YouTubers seem like they're making some money off of it, and I gotta and so I'm like, I can do this. Like, this is the stuff I do all day anyways, and I like it. I have fun doing it, and so that's what I'm doing now. All right, let's zoom in closer to what we have recently. So if we come down here, so this was April's low, and April's low set a support trajectory for us that I have really thin here because it's not very relevant right now. As you can see, the lines get thicker as we get closer to the present. And with each, hello, I don't think that's in the wrong place. Let me go to auto here. Yeah, this line got messed up. Let's move that to 893. Is that right? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I need to move that to 893, and actually that crosses. Oh, that's why it was there, because that's where the new trajectory got set back in early May. So yeah, trajectory got set there, and then every couple of days, with where we've been, the trajectory increases. We're picking up in velocity, and you can see that with this exponential fan that's moving out, and we can expect to, and as long as we stay in this trend, we can expect to keep seeing an increase in trajectory every few days or so now, because we can see that here there's quite a few trading days before we increased our support velocity, and then it increased again, and it was less time before we started really picking up, and now our trajectory is picking up every couple trading days now. So that's why this is really exciting. And what I have left over here, this really thick green line, this is a line that I drew yesterday at yesterday's close, and so I was kind of expecting that if we were to follow this trajectory, that by the end of today, we would be somewhere up around here. That didn't turn out to be the case, so I'm going to redraw this line to make it so that it matches with what we're currently seeing on the chart. It was only and I don't need to move the original point. I just need to move where I had it last, which is okay. So that's where I had it last, and let's move that. It's probably easier if I zoom out to the 15-minute and then dial it in from there. All right, so there we go. So yeah, this afternoon's low is where that's at. All right, let's zoom back in so we can get a little bit more refined here. Come on. Oh, there it is. All right, okay, so it's at the bottom of that green wick. Auto, that's what I'm looking for. Just need to make sure. Where is it? Just see if it looks good here. Ooh, yeah, it was way off. Come on, bring that back there. All right, so that is kind of the new trajectory that we're on. So let's take a look at uh, the I have Fibonacci retracement in this green here, and then Fibonacci extension as these red levels here. So for those who don't know, Fibonacci retracement is useful for when you see the beginning of a run up to the end of a run up, and when the stock comes back down, it gives you an idea of the levels of significant price levels of support and resistance that the stock could fall back down to, and it also signifies what the stock will have to run back up to and break through as resistance. Whereas with the Fibonacci extension, which is the red here, it's drawn from the bottom of a run up to the top of a run up to wherever the run back down ends, and it starts to bounce back up. And the Fibonacci extension gives you an idea of, hey, once we really start going back up, these are going to be significant price levels that we can expect resistance at, and that will need some significant volume to break through. What is very interesting about this big run up we had on Thursday, and the rundown after that, is that the retracement levels created from retracement and extension actually are pretty close to each other. So what this means is, so like, for example, around this like $57.20 level, there's going to be a lot of support, or there's a lot of support and resistance at those levels, and to break through that, we can anticipate that there's going to need to be some heavy volume in order to set a new trend there. So this bottom one, for example, which was in around the $45 range, we saw an example of that here. It broke through it in the it broke down through it in the after hours yesterday, but at the end of after hours we are starting to run back up, and then it broke right through it right when pre-market opened. Hold on, 6.4, 6.7. Okay, so this is Friday. This was Monday. So I shouldn't say yesterday. So yeah, this was Friday, and then this was Monday morning. Monday morning we broke really clean through that, and then we can see, yeah, there was a ton of volume right here, so we were able to break through this significant level. And all the way up, and that volume got us all the way up to the next level, but you can see that was a false breakout over this level, and it brought us down into this channel on Monday, or yesterday, and we've kind of been trading back and forth in between this significant price level here and this one right here. So it's going to, and I think we can expect to probably continue bouncing back and forth in between these two levels until we see some significant volume, which by the looks of it is happening at the beginning of the day. So we ended like almost, it was pretty much a day where we traded sideways. Now, here's where I'm bullish, because we are still inside of a new support trajectory. how I would look at this is that as we finish after hours, we'll probably end right about where we closed. Since we're under right now, we'll probably break above and under where we closed today. A couple times we'll probably just end the after hours there. And then I'm thinking we can expect to see a steady climb, or at least we'll hug around this trajectory line until we open. And if we do follow that during the pre-market tomorrow, we'll be really close, or we'll be smack dab in this zone, in this significant zone of support and resistance. And because we see most of our volume right at the beginning of the day, I think we'll see a repeat of what we saw here, where we broke through this, went all the way up to the top, had a breakout, and then came back down. So I think tomorrow, let me draw some crayons here. I don't want a horizontal line. Oh, Weeble just crashed on me. All right. RSI is in the way. Okay, now I should be able to adjust that back down. All right, okay, drawings. Let's do trend lines. So can expect to zigzag. And then when the market opens, come on. Actually, yeah, I do still want a trend line. So yeah, when the market opens, I think we're gonna have a clean break right through this level of resistance, and using that momentum, we'll probably get a break over this level, and then we'll probably likely trade in this channel for the rest of the day. Tomorrow, that would be, so I'm gonna mark this in purple. Let me increase the size of these so they can be easily seen. Is that not big enough? No, that's the biggest one. Okay. All right. And let's come here. All right, so actually what I want to do, and let me come here. All right, so I think we actually might be able, and if we really get moving with the momentum tomorrow morning, the bullish bet that I have, well, let me adjust these a bit more, and you'll see where I'm going with this. So I'm going to color this one, since this is a bullish indicator, so I'm going to make this, so, okay, you know, I kind of had the right idea before. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So I think that we might even be able to come back up to here, and then we'll probably get a breakout over this 64.83 level, and it wouldn't be a really super significant one since there's not another Fibonacci level to break through there. So I think if we do break out of it, we'll probably come back under and then shoot right back up, and then shoot up again to test $70. And after that, I won't know what, I would have no clue what would happen And then I'll change the colors in just a second to show that bet. Let me change the style to add an arrow at the end of that. So this is the bullish bet, so I'm going to make it green. All right. So that's the super bullish bet. And since this, yeah, that's a super bullish bet. This would be more like the sideways bet. So I'm going to color this one yellow. Yep. And now also do a bearish bet, because you gotta prep yourself to prepare for like if we do lose momentum. So let me add a trend line here. Let me expand this. So right here in this zone, because we might get a lot of bearish volume, that's always a possibility. And if that is the case, we don't have a major level of resistance here. The next one would actually be here. So I think if we break down, we're probably going to break down with all the volume that we see in the morning. We might break down right through this wall here and probably bounce off our previous support trajectory before, and this would be a false breakout if it bounced off of this support trajectory, and we would probably wind up just back in the same channel again. Yeah, that would be my bearish bet if that were to happen. So let's make that a red. And red, thick line, top it off with an arrow. All right. So, because yeah, we've got, yeah, that Fibonacci, those Fibonacci lines, those will create really, really hard levels to break through or break down out of. It'll take a lot of volume going both ways, or either way. So so that's kind of what I'm looking at for tomorrow. That is literally just drawing with crayons though, and that doesn't take into account what we might be seeing in options. So that's actually kind of what I wanted to cover next. Let me move this. Let me keep this one on the 15-minute. Yeah, keep that on the 15-minute. I'm going to add a new widget chart. I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to put the chart out here, because what I want to work on next to kind of give us a better idea of what we might be working with as far as factoring in options to all of this is I want to build an options visualizer spreadsheet to help us track the potential potential volume as a result of delta hedging. That's what I want to look into. So let me go to Google Chrome here and yeah, there we go. So now we can still see the chart. We're on the 1 minute interval here. We can see the price action as we go. Wait, is that even moving? Am I on the right day? Yeah. What the heck? Is it just really slow after hours right now? No, it's moving. Let's go to the 1 minute here. Let's try changing the interval. Maybe that'll work. is going on? Why won't this work? Interval. Does it not work if the window is this small? What the heck? Alright, well, let me actually just, since we can, well, it looks like we're staying above the trend line right now, so that's good. Okay, let me add a widget. I want to add quotes, all widgets. Let's add a quote widget. We'll put that over here. Okay, so now we can come to Google and let's go to Drive. Let's make a new spreadsheet. Okay, so this spreadsheet, we're going to call this, what did I want to call it? Options Visualizer. All right, and we are going to start with the most basic data we can work with. I'll actually need to be working with Weeble, so it would actually make more sense if I actually close that out and see if I can just bring this over here. All right, looks like that's all it'll give us. And I want to look at options. And yeah, let's start with the calls and work with that right now. So the calls, it looks like we have a strike, a bid, an ask, a last, percent change, which is just delta, and okay, and then mid. No, I don't want to go down to row 2. Apply volume, open int. Oh, looks like there is a separate delta, so let's do percent change. And gamma theta. All right. Okay. So, then for each option also needs a date. Because we are going to make a table. All right. Okay, so we've got June 11th. All right. Okay. And let's start. I'm actually not going to worry about the bid and the ask right now. Or the last. Percent change, would I? Yeah, I wouldn't care about that right now either. Nor the mid. Imply volume, nope, not that. Open int, that's what I'm looking for. And then the delta, gamma, theta. Let's hide those two. All right, so for now I just care about the date, the strike, and the open int. We'll keep this simple for the time being. So the date, we've got a lot of options. So 11th, so June 11th of 2021. Strike. Okay, we got 145. And then let's take that, drag it down. 612, I actually want to keep that. 611. Make this 140. Okay, and then it goes down by 5s. until we reach 85. So I can just highlight these. The date's the same, but these go down by 5. So if I drag this down, Google will be able to detect the pattern. And those are 85 right there. And then starting at 85, now we go to 84. And then 83, 2, 1, 8, 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it goes down by ones until we reach 17. So I can highlight these two because the date is the same, but it goes down by 1. Google will detect the pattern, and we can just do this to quickly fill things out. Uh, 21 till 17. 17. Okay, all right, so now we have 16.5, and then it goes down by half-cent intervals, and I think it just does that until, until 5 cents. So now let's take these two, until the last one, which is at 5 cents. Okay. All right, now this is just going to be a lot of data entry from here, unless, can I copy this? That'd be great if I could. I don't think I can. Shortcut command and click on a contract. I don't want to create a new order entry. Just need to plug in those numbers. This is going to be really labor intensive. Oh boy. Okay. So, open int 44611 7182 2630 2108 7335 119 3506 5789 2717 17510 1799 5380 3797 1198 830 555 758 9953 451 473 677 757 4908 1395 154 18 2171. Alright, where was I? 15 48 717. There I was. Okay, 1404 22055 2349. And let's move down. Okay, starting from the top. Got 1977, 1570, 1593, 9874, 1716, 2268, 2303, 2444. 29141 5647 3979 4076 5290, and those are the calls that are out of the money right now. This would be really labor intensive if I have to update this every freaking time. So what I am going to do is I'm going to search for an API to see if I can plug it in to this. All right, stock options API. Bunch of ads. Stock options analysis and options trading strategy tools. Ooh, Rapid API, there we go. Top 7 best stock market APIs. I don't want stock market, I want stock and options trading data provider API documentation. Let's try this. Yeah, we'll just continue. can't remember if I used Rapid API. No, I think it'll work. I just need HTTP1. Or is there a curl? Nope. Okay. I want get options. Ooh, okay. Rapid API app. Header parameters. Okay, so that's my key and my secret. Required parameters. Ticker. Let's do AMC. Okay. Personal account. I don't need to create an organization. That's the only option available. Required, required, required. That's all filled out for me. How do I run this? Copy code. I don't need to copy the code. Options. AMC. How did I do this with my other thing? Let me. Is it even here? I don't think it is. Let me go over really quick to. I have a personal sheet and I've got some code that I can copy over from there. Let's go to script editor. All right, update stocks. Was I using? Yeah, okay. rapidapi.com/market v2. Okay, okay. So if I copy that. Okay. So now, oh, didn't want to do that. Move that back. Okay, so I've got that part of the URL, and let's copy the last part of this. It needs the key. I actually need to copy this whole thing here. And just need to adjust options/AMC instead of market v2. Rapid API key. And I think that actually might be everything I need. So let's try that. Endpoint options, AMC does not exist. Oh, I have an extra slash in there. Okay, that did not work either. Oh, it's probably because I need, oh, the host, that's what I'm looking for. Stock and options trading data, that's what I want. Yes, and this is over https:// You are not subscribed to this API. How do I subscribe to it then? Dang it. Subscribe to test. API marketplace. Do I need to go to like my apps? Dashboard. Default application. Configuration. Settings. Actually, let me just take Rapid rapid API not subscribed to API. Rapid API. Stack Overflow, our best friend. All right, so we did this in a React app. That's weird. Oh, got an email from them. Let's see what it says. Refresh email. First, consume your first API. Embed, monitor. That didn't help. Okay. Let's come back to here. Developer dashboard. My APIs, would it be there? Docs. Rapid API Quick Start Guide. API listing overview. Once you select an API, the first page you'll see is an API endpoints page. This includes most of the information you need to get started. The API endpoints includes navigation, a list of endpoints, documentation of the currently selected endpoint, and a code snippet to help you get started with your code. Subscribing to an API, here we go. If the API has a pricing associated with it, you will need to select a pricing plan before calling the API. Prices are based on a recurring monthly subscription based on the plan selected, plus overage fees applied if you exceed a plan's quota limits. All right, so where do I subscribe then? Help me out. Help me pay you money. That's what I want to do. One really big pet peeve that I have is software that makes it hard for people to give money to the people that make the software. It's just like why is like if somebody wants to give money to you, why would you make that hard? You would want to make that as easy and seamless as possible. Like, I don't get. I have this issue with. Nest ever since Google acquired Nest, where like I still don't have. Like I used to have Nest Protect, but now I don't because you have to literally give them a phone call to sign up for Nest Aware now, and it took me probably like 30 minutes of searching the internet trying to figure out like, how do I freaking give you money? It was just the stupidest thing. So, all right. So yeah, let's figure out how to subscribe to this API here. API directory, marketplace. That's what I want. Search APIs, public APIs. And I've actually probably gotten way too far here. So let me go back to options, stock options API, and that will get me back to here. That's what I want. All right, okay. Yep. Okay, how do I subscribe? Endpoints. This is the documentation. Stock options, trading data, provider, freemium. What was that? What did I do? It's confetti. pricing. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. All right, so it looks like the free version of this API allows me to make 5 calls a day at 1 request per minute, which I am completely fine with 5 calls a day since I'm only planning on using this API just once a day. So I'm going to subscribe to that. Subscription created successfully. Look at that. All right, let's go back to the endpoints now. Or actually, let me just refresh this and see if it works. Not subscribed to this API? I am though. Start using API. Let's see what's going on there. All right. Okay, ticker AMC. Get. Oh, that's straddle. I want options. Options for ticker symbol AMC. All right, here is what. This is the exact thing that I'm looking for. Right there. Node.js. Is that the same? Stock and options, trading data, provider, API.com. Is that the same as it was in Node? JavaScript? XML HTTP request? Maybe that's Axios. Fetch. The headers. AMC. Let's just try that. See what that gets us. Invalid API key. Go to here for more info. I like that. And get rid of the front slashes. Keys in rotation. Wait, I think there's a way I can hack this. Oh, I can test the endpoint. Oh, yes. Okay. Let's see if this even gets us what I want. All right, so we had the request was successful. Let's look through the data here. See what we got. Options. Yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is going to make this a whole heck of a lot better. All right. So, how are we doing? What the heck? I need to, let's try, here we go. Okay, so yeah, we had a big run up, all the way up to 55, 58. Hopefully this is, just looks like a bull flag right now. Hopefully we'll break above this soon. Yeah. Okay, back to where we were here. All right, headers, because I want to get the exact URL, essentially the curl request. That's what I'm looking for. Code snippets. What does it look like in jQuery? X there. XML HTTP request. I think I need to set all those headers. Let me compare that with what I saw. Just need the API key on the other ones. Method API key. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's try this. Options, AMC, question mark, query, the rapid API dash key is equal to, come back here, application key, oh, it worked. Yes, it worked. This is perfect. Okay. This is gonna be really cool. How many people do we got watching right now? It looks like still just one, but if it's Ken Barton, if it's still you, you are in for a treat. But whoever's watching, you're in for a treat here. There's lots of cool stuff you can do with Google Sheets, especially when you can plug it into public APIs. So this is our special URL. And what we are going to do is we don't need any of this anymore, because we got our examples. Yeah, let's go to the results here, and we have an array of options. Let's look at one option. Okay, so calls. All right. Move this over here. Wow, that is not responsive. Okay. It'd be easier to do this. Put this sheet over here. Come on. There we go. All right, so now if we are working with just calls, we have a symbol which is redundant in our case. Well, actually, no, we want to build this out so we can do other symbols too. So let's just do symbol, strike, last, bid, ask, open, interest, and we have volume, and we have change, and we have percent change, and we have IV. Is that, what does IV stand for? Is that like key for a Greek letter? IV Greek, not number. IV stock option. 4 is simply an estimate of the future volatility of the underlying stock based on options prices. This estimate can be a helpful tool in formulating your strategy, especially if you are targeting volatile stocks. Additionally, if an options IV or 4, I'm not sure what it is, can help serve as a measure of how cheap or expensive it is. Investopedia, here we go. Implied volatility, that's what it is. Okay, that's what it stands for. That makes more sense. All right, okay. So we've got all that now. Got all the columns that we want. want, since those are all the columns for the calls. Oh, I do want the date as its own. Yeah, I do want the date as its own column. Date. And actually, yeah, we'll just make this a data dump. So we have options, date, and then it's separated into option type. Okay, so we've got all of our columns set up, which means that we can get rid of the rest of these columns. Matt Kors tweeted. Come on. Oh, I'm not following Matt Kors on this account. Let me go to my personal. All right, Matt Kors, eyes. Leslie Picker says at S3 Partners squeeze score of 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. Okay, back to it. So let me move this back into here. And now what we are going to do is we're going to start working with some Google Sheet magic. So let's go to Tools, Script Editor, creating a project. Here we go. All right. Oh, that's nice. They have libraries and services now. Okay. So custom function, my function. I'm going to call this, rename it to get options. The sun is right in my face. I really need to get. I hate this time of the day for this reason. I can't get the sun out of my face no matter what I do. Let me try scooting over a little bit. All right. Okay, and this, well. Okay. So I'm going to call this function, function get options. And what get options is going to do is we want to get the results of a URL. So let's figure out how to do that with Google Sheets. Google Apps Script Docs. Here we go. The documentation. This literally has everything we want to know how to code with stuff inside of Google Sheets. Reference. I don't need to create a developer profile right now. All right. Script services. URL fetch. That's exactly what I want. Overview. All right, this service allows scripts to access other sources on the web by fetching URLs. Exactly what we want. So, is there an example here that I can just copy and paste? Okay. Give me, I want a freaking example. URL fetch app. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I want. Okay. So fetch URL. This makes a request to fetch a URL. This works over HTTP as well as HTTPS. Let's copy the response there and come back over into our untitled project. We're actually going to call this options visualizer. Rename and paste this in here. And change that var to a const since we don't want to mess with the response itself. And since we're just going to get the content text anyways, well, actually no, we need to put a safeguard around it. So if the response exists, then we want to, our data, our raw data is equal to the response get content text. And then we can parse through that text. All right, and then we can log the raw data as an object. All right. Okay, is that how I did it in my other one? Stock data. Okay. Response data. Okay. Yeah, so it just returns it as a JSON object. So let's see. Oh, otherwise we want to, and instead of logger log, I want a console log. I want to send that right to the console. And console log error, getting options data. And then we want to log the response with it. And to log the response, we just put a percent symbol with an S, and then put that as the second parameter. All right. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So now what we would do here is take this URL that got us all this gross data, and we are going to put it inside of our code. And to make sure that it is scalable, we're going to change the AMC to a variable. Make this backtick so we can just embed the variable right in the string. And this would be symbol. And symbol will be passed in to get options as a parameter. All right. Okay. Now, we've got that. We can close this out. Don't need it anymore. Don't need that. Don't need that. All right, yeah, this is a little bit cleaner now. I don't think I'm going to need my drive open anymore either. Okay, yes, that's where we were going. Oh, okay, that's, yeah, I want to keep that there. This is our documentation. Yeah, new tweets. Okay. And stock and options trading data. So what the data is the data has the stock itself. Does this include price data? The price data would be a different call anyways. So it'd be raw data dot options, right? Yep. So we come back here, and then const options equals. Wait, do I have to stringify that or parse it? Yes, I do have to parse it. So get content text. And so JSON.parse, get content text. That is our raw data that can be that can be modified now. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. And so now we can destructure the object by by saying options is equal to the destructuring of raw data. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because we still want to console log the raw data, so we have our options, and options is literally an array. It's an array of objects, and each object just contains a single date. That's kind of weird. All right, so I guess those are all the categories that we're looking at. Okay, so options is an array of objects. So for const object of options, each object each object key is a date. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to make this, I want to do object, and I want to do entries, object, and this would be an array. Okay. Each object. And it's an array. Object entries object is an array where you have a key value pair. Frick, why can't I remember what object entries does? All right. Oh, that's right. That's why I was confused. Because this needs to happen inside of a for loop itself. Frickin' sun, it's just in my face. Alright, okay, so for const, because we're not modifying that, so we're using const of, and the array destructured would be the key, which is the date, and then the data itself, object, the key, and then it is an object itself which contains a calls and a puts. Calls, puts. Const dates calls put of object entries obj. And this would be obj is too broad. What would we call essentially what is? Yeah, no, looks like we broke out of our trajectory. Options, there you are. So what would I call this? Date collection? Yeah, date collection. Dates of options. There we go. Okay, yeah, because that makes sense. So, option dates, there we go. Option dates. There we have the date, the calls, and the puts. And then what we want to do is we want to go through each call. Yes. And the calls itself, that is the data itself. So actually, I do want to just say date and option types. There we go. So we have date, and then we have option types. And then each option type is an array. So, but no, option types is an object. But we want to loop through each object, so we're going to do another for loop of for const of object entries option types, and this gives us a destructuring of the option type itself and then the actual option data. Yeah, option type, option data. Okay, because yeah, we have the option type, and then the option data is an array. And yeah, okay. And then we need to loop through each data of option data. There's a better way to say it. Well, they're options, that's what they are, but options is already declared here, so I'll just say OPTNS. I'll abbreviate that. And option type, options, and then we are going to do another for loop for const OPT. I can just say option here of options. Const option of option. And here, the option is all this. I actually don't even need to say option because I don't think I'll use the whole thing. Because I'm just going to be destructuring all of this data anyways. So here, symbol strike last bid. So we can destructure right in the definition of the for loop. Symbol strike. Actually, no. I do want option. So that way, if we need to console log it, we can. I'll just destructure it here. Okay, so the option is once again symbol strike last bid ask. Symbol strike last bid ask. Symbol strike last bid ask. And symbol is already declared, so I want to change, and since that's a destructuring, I would just want to change this to SYM to symbol. And symbol is actually a reserved word because otherwise it wouldn't be blue. So symbol here, we'll actually just change this to, we'll change this one to SYM, and we'll change this to ticker. Yeah. Yeah, because JavaScript does not like symbol as a reserved word. Okay, next. So then open interest volume change percent change. Ooh, how do I destructure a key that has a space? Destructure key with space JavaScript. How to destructure an array with an object that has space in its keys. There we go, okay. Variable names can't have spaces in them, so you won't be able to destructure that property into a standalone variable unless you also rename the variable which can be done using bracket notation. Cool, I learned something new today. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So the key was open interest. And so we have open interest, and we immediately need to rename that to a variable, open interest. And then we have volume change percent change IV. Volume change percent change IV. Volume change percent change IV. That is what the option is. All right. Okay, so now we've got everything we need to build out our table. We have that all destructured now. So here we want to build out our row, essentially. So row data. Row data is an array which contains the date, type, symbol strike. So the date, option type, and we'll actually just, yeah, date, option type, symbol, which is sim, and the strike. And then we have last bid, ask, last bid, ask, open interest, and then volume change percent change, and essentially there's the same thing. And that looks so good too, because it's all lined up with the destructuring. That just turned out beautiful. I really like that. All right. Okay, so we have the row data now. And then we just need to push it into the sheet. So let's figure out how to do that. So Google AppScript Docs. Oh, I already have them open right there. All right, so let's go to Google Workspace Services, spreadsheet. And what I want to do is I want to insert a row. Range, that's what I want. So range, class range, and the method that I'm looking for is not get. I want to merge, remove, set, that's what I'm looking for. I want to set values, yes. All right, so here is our example. Oh, shoot. My watch didn't tell me to stand up, and it's 5 o'clock now. All right, well. Well. Okay, so let me copy the code sample, come back to our code, put it in here. All right, don't need the comment here. We already got our values. Oh, values needs to be a, hold on. Sheet values, get range, 2 through 2. That's just one row. Oh, this will be really easy. Okay. Yeah, because I only want to get the spreadsheet itself once, so I'm going to move that to the very top, well, after, yeah, I just want to do that after we do all of our looping. And then, because we don't need to grab it before that point, and then it's the same sheet. Get sheets, and then the values. We have the range and the values. Let's see, and we want to do factoring array const options data. Now I just want to say rows. There we go. So rows is just an array. And then a single row is just the one array. And then once we have defined the row, we will do rows.push row. Very easy. I could just do this all in line, but makes it a bit hard. It makes it a bit more convoluted, harder to read. So we'll keep it simple. That's what I like to do. All right. Okay, so now that, again, that's all we need to do. So then we just get the spreadsheet itself, and the spreadsheet is called the options visualizer. So that's what I'll call it, options visualizer. Get the active spreadsheet, and then the sheet itself would just be the options sheet. And I'm actually going to rename that right now. Options. So we have the options sheet, which is spreadsheets, which is options visualizer. And get sheets, I want to get sheet by the name. So we have the spreadsheet and methods, get num sheets, get sheet by name. That's what I want. Get sheet by name, because that makes it much easier to read. And the sheet name is options, because that's the name of the sheet right there, options. And now we have the options sheet, and then we have the table range, which is just which is A2 through L, and whatever the last row of L is, or want it to be the last row of what L would be once we populate it, because yeah, we need to have the same number of rows. So instead of get range, we can't get a specific range, we have to get a range dynamically. So we want to go to sheet and get range, whatever it is. Get range, row, column, number of rows, number of columns. That is exactly what we want. So here we go. I just want to copy that. Put it into here. And so the row that we are starting on, gosh, freaking sun. It's always in my way. Okay, so the row that we are starting on, is it indexed by 0 or indexed by 1? It returns the range with the top left cell at the given coordinates with the given number of rows and columns. Row is an integer. The starting row index of the range row indexing starts with 1. So if this is 1, I don't want this, I do want this. So it's literally just the row number. So I want to start with row 2. And the column I want to start with is column. The starting column index of the range, column indexing starts at 1, and I want this specific cell. So I want A2, which translates to row 2, column 1. Column 1, that's the top left cell I want to grab in the range, and then the number of rows that I want to grab would be the length of the rows themselves. So rows dot length. The number of rows to return, and then the number of columns to return, and the number of columns that I want to return are, I need to get just the number of columns that are in the sheet, because we are not going to have any additional columns aside from what is there. So I want sheet get max columns, I think it is. Get max columns, there we go. Returns the current number of columns in the sheet regardless of the content. Come on. Options, sheet, get max columns. And let me make that its own variable just to make it clean. Const num columns. And let me change these to consts as well. We're not changing those, not changing any of these. All right, and let me call this options range. Just to make this really clear, num rows is equal to rows.length. We'll use that. All right. Num rows, num columns, that gives us our options range. The first thing that we want to do though is we want to, is because thinking in the future, what if, and this is going to happen every time, but the first time is that this sheet will already have data in it, and we just want a fresh slate whenever we grab it. So we need to purge the sheet first before we need to purge the range first before we populate it. So yeah, that's what we want to do. So we have the option sheet, num rows to populate, and then num columns, and number of columns will always remain the same, so I'll actually move that up. But if I want to purge the data first, I want to get actually, this is technically still the options range, so I'm actually going to make turn options range into a let, so we can modify it later. Let options range equals sheet get range, and then I can just remove the const there, so we can just reassign the value. But instead of the number of rows to populate, I just want the number of rows that contain data, which would be get data range. Get data range returns a range corresponding to the dimensions in which data is present. Ooh, get last row, that's actually a better thing. So get last row returns the position of the last row that has content. That is what I want. All right. So this would be last row with content equals get last row. Oh, it's the options sheet, get last row. And then the number of rows to delete, num rows to purge, is equal to the last row with content -1, because the -1 account for column header, or for header row. And number of rows to purge. All right, so that gets our range, but that just gets our range. Now we need to clear the range. We need to purge it. So is there an easy way to just purge all the data set? I think the only way you can do it is just by inserting a whole bunch of just arrays with just null elements inside of them. We'll see if that, because that's how I've done it before. Gross, okay. So, we have the number of rows to purge. We've got everything we need to build that out. So, const blank rows. Blank rows is an array. And what we're going to do is for this actually needs to be a traditional for loop. Don't do those very often anymore. So for let I is equal to 0, as long as I is less than the number of rows to purge, we're going to increment. And then for each iteration, we are going to declare a blank row. And a blank row is an array with the array length as the number of columns. And then we're going to fill that array with just blank. And then we are going to push the blank row into blank rows. Cool. Yes. So now we have our blank rows. Options range. Okay, yeah, so we need to clear all that. So it makes sense. But let's do that here. Options range. And then we get our blank rows. And then options range, set values to blank rows. And so that should purge existing content, or purge existing data. And then populate new data. And instead of existing, I'll say old. Purge old data, populate new data. And this would be get data. Get new data. control data. How are we doing? Oof. Okay. Come on, AMC, come back. All right. Back to this. So the number of rows to populate, the number of columns, still the options range, and then the options range set values, and instead of values, it is rows. Okay. And I think that should do the trick. But now we just need to get options, so we need to create a button on this page that will do that for us. So I need to save these changes, and I need to add a file. This is going to be a script file, and this is going to be an on open. So when the spreadsheet is opened, we're going to do some stuff. Script services, and it's Google services. UI is what I'm looking for. I think. Where would it be? Where would it be? It's not in the add-ons. Guides, it's probably somewhere in there, what I'm looking for. I want to... Menus, dialogues, and sidebars, that's what I want. So, custom menus. Yes, this is what I want. Copy. And paste. Function on open. The UI is the spreadsheet app, get the UI, or the document app format, but we are working with the spreadsheet app. UI, it's going to create a menu, custom menu. We want to, what should we call this menu? Options menu. Yeah, or utilities? Yeah, we'll call it utilities. And then we're going to add an item, and this first item is going to be refresh options. Yeah, refresh options, and then menu item 1. And this one can just be get options. Okay. And we don't need a separator or a submenu, but we do need to add to the UI, so we'll keep that on there. Okay, so that is our on open function. Now we need to figure out where to get this ticker from. Oh boy. We need some sort of input. We need to store it somewhere. Fetch, I was hoping not to do this, but I'm gonna have to. Another header row. I'm gonna have to. So this one is just going to be the ticker that we're tracking, and it's just gonna say AMC for now. And so now we need to go back to this, and when dealing with rows, We need to account for the header rows, plural now, so this needs to be -2. And then, yeah, the number of header, this just needs to match the number of header rows, however many there are. Because is that right? No, it's whatever the number of header rows is plus 1. Okay. So, and that will actually always remain the same because I need to change that here as well. So we're just going to turn that into a variable. So const number of header rows is equal to 2. We'll just hard code it for now. And this is the number of header rows, and because that's self-explanatory now, we don't need that comment. But this is now number of header rows plus 1. And since we're doing that calculation twice, we'll also turn that into a variable. So const row index where data starts is equal to the number of header rows plus 1. I'll replace that there as well. So that way if it changes in the future, we only have to change it in one place instead of everywhere else. All right. Yeah, that should work. But now we need to get the ticker. So the ticker is no longer going to be passed in. We're going to grab it. And because we need to grab it from the option sheet itself, we're going to hoist hoist these variables up to here, to the top, because we need to use them before we get the data. Come on. And I don't like using double quotes. I like using single quotes. All right. Okay. So we have the option sheet, and the ticker is option sheet, get range, and it is A2. Does that work? Let's check that notation. Reference, workspace services, spreadsheet, sheet, get range, where are ya? Get range A1 notation. Yeah, okay, that works. And it's B1 is what we actually want, B1. Okay, now we have the ticker there. Okay, so now get option should work without passing in any parameters. Now all we need to do is hook up on open to a trigger, just right here. Yep. I want to create a new trigger. I want to run on open on head from the spreadsheet when the sheet is opened. Failure notification settings, just notify me weekly. Save. Loading data, this may take a few moments. Let's do it now. Let's take a look back at the chart. Hey, we bounced back up. What do you know? What do you know? Did it not work? Do I have to hit save again? Oh, I have to authenticate. Okay. Yes, allow. grant permissions. There we go. So, and this is where we will find, oh wait, executions. That's where we'll find stuff for our logs. So, we have options visualizer. Let's refresh the page. Or actually, refreshing doesn't work. You gotta close out of the actual sheet and then reopen it. Options visualizer. And in just a second, we should see our utilities. There it is. Magic, utilities, refresh options, and I really hope this works. If this works on the first try, it's gonna be freaking amazing. So the one user that's the one person that's watching right now, I hope you don't have me on in the background at this point anymore, because if this works, is going to be magic, and I'm going to be really happy if this works. So this is the moment of truth. Well, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Oh no! Oh, swing and a miss. Options is not iterable. Let's check it out. We got a type error. Options isn't iterable. All right. Details. Okay, it says a type error. Options is not iterable. Let's go back to our tools, script editor. Executions. Failed. Debug. Raw data. Options is not iterable at get options 13. Of options. Did we not console log the raw data? Because if we come here, it says that options is an array. Let's check the execution log again. Get options. Debug. Okay, so this is the raw data. So the raw data is a message ticker range not available. Oh, I think it's because this needs to be lowercase. So yeah, it needs to be lowercase. So what we're going to do, because yeah, like the URL wants AMC to be all lowercase, but we have it all uppercase. It does matter when it comes to code. So we're gonna make it so that no matter what somebody types in here, uppercase or lowercase, we're gonna force it to be lowercase. Oh, and get range is just a range too. I need to get values, I think. So range. Range, get values, and get values returns an array of arrays. Okay, and it's indexed from 0, 0, all right. So this needs to be get values, and then the first row and the first column that it finds inside that range. That should work now, but we also need to take this and make sure it's lowercase. And yeah, we'll just do that right here. It's 2 lowercase. All right, okay. All right, let's try this again. Well, actually, before I do that, I want to make sure that we are console logging our ticker. Console log ticker. Okay. Here we go. just checking Twitter real quick. Okay. All right, moment of truth. Here we go again. If you're watching, you're gonna see some magic happen. This sheet is just going to, it's just gonna populate, and it's gonna be magic, and it's gonna save us so much time. Sheet is not defined. Of course it's not. Sheet is not defined. Where is sheet? I want an exact match. Of course, it's sheet get range. It needs to be options sheet get range. Which means it got that far. It had to get this far to run into that error, so we didn't run into any issues during this. So I think now that we've gotten through that reference error, as long as I haven't tapped out on my number of API calls, 5 a day, then we should be good. Okay, we should be good now. Let me double check. Need to save first. Okay, that is saved. Let's try this again. Moment of truth. Request failed. Why did it fail? You have exceeded the rate limit per minute for your plan by the API provider. What was my rate limit on that again? Pricing. 1 request per minute. So we're just gonna hang out here for a bit. I'm actually gonna take this 1 minute. We're gonna wait for the rate limit to reset. I'm gonna take it and get a standpoint for the hour. So I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, okay. I got my standpoint. Just for good measure, we are going to just take a look at where we're at right now. Is that a, okay. All right. Oh, are they trying to push us down? We're fighting it. Back to the 1 minute here. I'm going to go to the 5 minute candle. Yeah, it's a bit easier to look at there. Okay, it should have been, we should be good to try running this again. Refresh options. Oh, geez, I think the number of rows in the range must at least be 1. Oh, it's a good point, because right now there's nothing inside of here, and so details. Let's see exactly where that tripped up. This is code. It's just debugging. Because once you get it to work once, then you're good. You're done. That's it. All right. The number of rows in the range must at least be 1 at get options 34. So let's go to get options line 34. row where index data starts, number of rows to purge, last row with content, which in this case would be 2, minus the number of header rows, which is 2, so that would be 0. So if the number of rows to purge is 0, we don't need to purge anything. So and dang it, I just got an email from that API service letting me know that I'm tapped out for the day, I think. You have reached maximum. Let me bring this up here. You have reached maximum quota for stock and options trading data with the trading data provider API. At this time, you've consumed all of the allocated API calls under your basic subscription to the stock options API. If you continue to make calls, you will incur overage fees or get blocked on this API. We strongly recommend that you upgrade to a pricing plan with a higher quota to avoid fees. Oh boy. Well, shoot. So and that is per day, right? Let me come back to here. 5 a day, and it's a hard limit. And I don't want to pay for it yet, because I won't need to pay for it. Because I don't need to call it 100 times a day. I literally just need to call it once a day. So, yeah, so I'm just gonna fix this bug with where we left off, and then we'll just pick up where we left off tomorrow, I guess, at least with this. So options range was the number of rows to purge. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, because options range, we're gonna need to put this inside of a new block scope. So I need to declare options range as null, just as a variable, just as a placeholder there. So then we can say if the number of rows to purge is greater than 0, then we're going to purge the rows. And then options range is declared, so we can get rid of this declaration. And this is inside of a block scope, so we tab it over. Because yeah, blank rows doesn't need to be accessed outside the scope. Number of rows to purge does need to be accessed. Let me move options range up to there. Yeah, okay. So the sheet meta, that actually belongs there. Because, yeah, options range is used in both of those sections, so we'll keep it outside of that. Missing a semicolon there. Yeah, okay. Last row with content is only used here, and the number of rows to purge is only used there, number of rows to populate, and then it's just where index data starts, the number of columns, set values, rows. Okay, yeah, that should do it. Okay, let's save that. And because yeah, like I would call it again, but I don't. But it says it's a hard limit, and I don't want to I don't want to get blocked from using it ever again. So I just gotta try it tomorrow. I'm glad they sent me an email though. That's considerate of them. It sucks that I used up all my tries on just debugging. All right, so options visualizer. I don't think I need to, yeah, I don't need to deploy it because it's already here. But essentially where I was going with this is once I can populate this dynamically, I was going to create a dashboard to essentially like visualize like, hey, here's all the options that are like in the money, out of the money, here's what here's how many shares are going to have to be hedged for as we move up into those ranges. And actually considering that, okay. So that's what I think I figured out a place for where I'm going to put this ticker, because I'm going to have a sheet called the dashboard. And the dashboard is where we're going to have our ticker symbol. So symbol is AMC. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Symbol AMC, and then we have the last price. Yeah, we can keep going with this, just not on the options part. Symbol last price, because there's a way we can also populate this dynamically as well, so we don't have to automatically fill it out. And instead of refresh options, we can just have something that just says like, hey, refresh everything, and it'll get the stock price as well as it'll get the stock price and for whatever, and the options. So and maybe if I go back to endpoints, crap. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it. Yeah, I just gotta test it all tomorrow. Cause yeah, so symbol, last price, and for this is all we really care about. We don't really care about the existing volume for this, but we're gonna have a table here. So I want to insert a chart. I already know I want to have a chart here for it. Oh boy. Okay. All right, and so now that we have our symbol, that's going to be on the dashboard. We can actually get rid of this, make this a very, very clean looking sheet. And we can come back to here, get options. The number of header rows that we have is just 1 now. Row indexer data starts, but now we need to change the ticker. So the option sheet we won't need until we get down here. So this would be, is this right? Oh yeah, because we do all that if there's a response. So get options sheet meta. And instead of getting the active spreadsheet, I'll want to get the spreadsheet by name. I want to get a spreadsheet by name. So let's find the spreadsheet app. Get. I don't want active sheet. I just want like get sheet. Is there a way I can get sheet? Oh, that spreadsheet app. I need to get the spreadsheet, which is different than the sheet. It's a bit confusing. Spreadsheet. Here we go. Spreadsheet. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the options visualizer, this is the actual spreadsheet. I do want this at the top still because we're going to use it here. We don't need the option sheet until we get here, but we do need the dashboard sheet. Dashboard sheet is equal to this, the options visualizer, get sheet by name, dashboard. And the ticker that I want, get range B1 still? Be A2. And let's actually have some fun and make it a bit more dynamic instead of A2, because what if for whatever reason I need to shift these around? I want to grab the cell directly below wherever the symbol column is. So I want to like create a function that's called get column by name. That's going to be a helper because that will come in real handy later on down the road. So it doesn't need to be a public function, so I can just declare with a const. So const get column by name. Yeah, we'll do get column by name is equal to a function. And what this function will do is it needs to take in the sheet because it needs to get a column from a sheet. And the header, so we need the header row. So the header row is equal to the sheet get range, and the range that we're looking for, we want to get the first row, and we want to start at the first row, start at the first column. The number of rows that we want to get is just 1. And then the number of columns we want to get are all of them, which would be max columns, which returns the number of columns regardless of whether or not they have data. So const num columns is equal to sheet get max columns. Gotcha. So get max columns. So get max, whether it's row or columns, get max gives you just the number of stuff regardless of the number of columns or rows, regardless of whether or not they add data. Whereas get last will return the last thing that it finds that does have data. So that's the key difference there. Sheet get max columns, that's what we want. That is the number of columns that we want to get. That will get us our header row, and we want to get the values because that will actually give us, and get values gives us a multi-dimensional arrays, and we just want the first value of that because it's just one row. And we just want that row. So that is the header row itself. And what we want to do is, so we have the sheet, and then we have the column name that we want to find. And we want to find the index. Yeah. So this would be the column index that we're looking for, and this would be header row, which is an array of the column header values, and we want to find the index for each header. We want to get the header that is equal to the column name. And now that we have the column index, what do we do with the column index? Because we now have the position. I want to make this as useful as possible. So in each situation, we might want to get a different number of rows. So we'll just pass that in as an argument. So the number of rows. So now what we're going to do is do the column data is equal to the sheet get range. We want to start with the row that we want to start from would be the first row where data actually begins, which means the row index where data starts, which can be different for each sheet depending on what we want to do with it in the future. So that would be all we need to know is the row index where data starts. And the number of the columns that we want to start with would be the column index that we just found. And the number of rows that we want to get would be num rows to get, and we'll make that an argument. And then the number of columns that we want to get would just be 1, because it's just a single column that we're getting. So that will always be 1. But then we need to get the values, which returns a multi-dimensional array. And there could be multiple rows, depending on the number of rows to get. So we're just going to leave it at that. Just get values, and we're just going to return that. So then we would return column data. Get column data by name. So now we can use this dashboard sheet. Okay. So this would be const ticker. So the ticker is now we're going to get the column data by name, and we are going to take all these parameters, throw them in. The sheet that we're passing in is the dashboard sheet. The column name that we want to get is ticker, right? Or did we call it symbol? We called it symbol. And then the row index where data starts is equal to 2 in this case. We'll just hard code it for now, and then the number of rows to get is just 1. We just want 1 row. And since we're just getting, because we're getting 1 column and we're only getting 1 row, that means the data that we get returned would just be 0, 0, and that's the value that we want. That's the ticker. Yep. Okay, yeah, that should work. And that way we can reuse this in a crap ton of other places. Because here, down here, right at the moment, we're not looking for any specific uh, data in any specific columns. So we don't need to use this function down here. But trust me, it'll be extremely useful as we build this out farther. Or further, sorry. All right, and let me make sure I have all my semicolons done. All right, so that is now saved. We got new tweets. All right, we got 2 minutes to close. Let's watch this, or 1 minute to close now. Come on. All right, so 55 was the previous close. 5504 is where we closed today. And yeah, it looks like they're trying to push it down. All in all, a really sideways day. Come on. 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's over. Yep. Okay, so let's update our technical analysis. So total volume for today was $213.98 or $213.98 million volume for the day. The volume pivot was at $54 is where we traded the most shares. That's where that was the pivot point where most shares were traded at. So $54. And we closed at 5504 or 5505. They updated it. Let's update that here. 5505. Okay. It's still 5505. All right. Okay. 5505, which is up 0.09% from yesterday's close. And let's readjust our crayon drawings to make it make sense. So, yeah, it broke that. So let's move that over to. Oh, geez, yeah, they really tried to push us down. This literally has to go on the last candle of the day. That's unfortunate. Come on, snap to it. There we go. Alright, and we have to go back a couple of days to that right there. Snap that into place. Okay, so now if we zoom out to the 5-minute chart. Oof. Did I mess something up? I must have messed something up really bad. Let me go to 30-minute. Holy crap. It's like all over the place. Alright, because yeah, this is supposed to be like right there. And then this is supposed to be right here. Yep. Okay. And then that puts that, actually, that's good. That means that this can go back to where that was, I think. Yeah, okay. So now that looks fixed. Let's come back to the 1 minute, make sure everything still looks right, which it doesn't. Yeah, gotta have to move it back to there. Alright. What the heck is going on with that? It's not supposed to do that. Yeah, what the heck? So yeah, that's our most recent trend. Okay, now that, jeez, I have to keep moving this. Okay. What the heck is this doing? That should be divided evenly. Okay, it looks fine on the 5 minute chart. Guess. Nah, I gotta change it on the 1 minute, otherwise it's gonna bug me a lot. So let's do this. Because I think the trajectory's got to be off on there. So let's see where this is going to. Yeah, all my crayon drawings are off on the 1 minute chart. It looks really weird. All right. What are you doing to me, Amy? Let's come here. Come here. Come here. Alright, okay. Now I'm going to move you back to that 1831. No! Gosh, I wish there was a freaking undo button or a hotkey on this, but there isn't. Okay. Okay, so yeah, that needs to hit that point. It's way off. Where is this going to? Do I need to adjust it on the 5 minute chart again just so I can get a handle of where it's at? 15 minute? Alright, drawings are all over the place now. What the heck is this? How did it get all the way up there? Alright, okay. Back to the 1 minute. See, I gotta make sure this looks all pretty for tonight's video. Yeah, there's no way that any of this is right. Yeah, 5 minute. Does it look okay on the 5 minute? I guess that's the really important thing, is if it looks okay there. If it looks okay and everything stays in proportion on auto. Looks like this needs to be adjusted. Really? Okay. Higher trajectory there. Okay. looks good. That looks good. Snazzy. It doesn't. Nothing needs to be exact. That though. Ah. That's probably why. There we go. And if we go back to auto here, then actually, yeah, okay. Something really messed with my drawings. Yeah, everything looks like it's in proportion now. Let's zoom out to the 4-hour candles. Yeah, that looks gross on the 4-hour. 30-minute, does that look all right on the 30-minute? Yeah, looks all right on the 30-minute candles. I need to adjust this though. So instead of doing arrow, well, I'll do arrows in conjunction with what I'm looking at. I'm going to add some boxes here. Oh, line stop, trend line, parallel. Is it here? Yes, rectangles are here. Okay, so if we trade sideways, I would consider anything in here as like our consolidation zone. Just another day of sideways trading, essentially. One's just either up or down. Let's see. And I would color this yellow. Signify, well, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. So yellow is going to be like our high consolidation range. And then we're gonna have low consolidation. Yeah, and then if we bounce off of that, can I do polygons? Nope, no polygons. Rectangle, and then from like here to down here is another zone. And then anything, so we have, yeah. Okay, yeah, this is how we're gonna do this. So oh, no. Yeah, if we land above that, and then we'll have this zone and then one other zone between our Fibonacci levels. Okay, and this very bottom zone is going to be red. This is going to be orange. This one is going to be yellow. This one is going to be blue. Yeah, and then this one is going to be green. Yeah, okay. This is all starting to come together now. So, actually, yeah, anything above here, because the yellow would just be just plain old sideways consolidation. This would be downward consolidation. And I'll actually label these. So this is the bear zone. Make that text white. Another text. This is downward consolidation. Just wanted to change the color there. And then we have sideways consolidation. And then we have upward consolidation. And then, oh, we bull crashed. Hope it saved my stuff. It did, that's great. Because Fidelity, if you make drawings and you don't explicitly like hit a save button, it just gets rid of everything you did, doesn't save anything. And let's go back to drawings. Or not rectangle, I want text. And then this is the frickin' bull zone. So this is what we are looking at for tomorrow. All right. And now I'm gonna actually draw out each possibility as it could go. So this, so yeah, if we break downwards, we could go all the way to frickin' $44. That is a very real possibility. Actually, let me keep this here. So we have downward consolidation channel, but I'm going to change this arrow to orange. And I'm going to take this trend line and extend it down to the bear zone. And I think if we went into the bear zone, we'd probably stop somewhere in that range, in the mid-range, probably, yeah. So we'd probably actually might make it all the way down to here before we bounce back up. Style. Come on. We have the bear zone there. And we have downward consolidation here. And we have sideways consolidation in this channel. And let me draw an arrow for that. Because everything just kind of breaks out of this point. Yellow, thick lines, thick. Right, and then this is a blue arrow. And that's our green arrow. And I just need to change this focal point. The heck? Oh. Alright, fine. So we've got yellow there. Because yeah, there's a lot of pressure that's going to be in this channel. And if the pressure is equal, then the volume might get canceled out and we could just see sideways consolidation again. Well, wait, is today yeah, today was a sideways consolidation day, so that's what we could see. So yeah, we break out, but not as bad. We'd actually probably bounce off this and head back upwards. Well, actually, if we see sideways consolidation, it'd probably be bouncing back up from heading down to this major, to this Fibonacci zone here. Yeah, given the trend though, yeah, this is going to be a really interesting video tonight that we'll be making. So, because yeah, this blue line, if we go into upward consolidation, we'll probably break out above that level, come back down. We would sideways consolidation. We would just bounce off of the same level of resistance that we've been hitting, come back up, and around the same point we did today and yesterday. Downward consolidation, if we break downward, we'll probably break through that, but then bounce off the previous level of support. And then, because it's very rare, well, let's see, because yeah, with this much volume this early in the morning, we'd probably break straight through that wall and then bounce off of this. But if we break it through this level of previous support, it would need to expend a lot of volume to break through that, which means that the RSI would be really low. It'd be freaking cold by the time it got to here, and so it'd probably bounce pretty easily right off of this Fibonacci level of retracement. And then absolute worst case scenario is if it does break through here, that means there's going to be a whole lot of momentum that's probably going to take it all the way down to the previous to Thursday's low. And oh wait, that's not even Thursday's low, I don't think, but it would take it down through this level. It would need to break. There's probably going to be a level of support here, and it'd break down there, and probably come back up through here by the end of the day. I'm really hoping that we just break upward. I mean, who wouldn't? But we can't just always go up. And yeah, I'm really hoping that we break upwards and that we break out of the trend, and that we'll see that right out of the gate, and that we just really melt up. Actually, because let's see, the entire Fibonacci channel, I need to account for the entire Fibonacci channel. So the bear zone actually extends all the way down to here. Oh boy, those are all looking messy now. Come on. I gotta really clean this up. There we are. Move you over. There you are. Move you over. Box. Oh, come on. All right. And then the bull zone actually extends all the way up to here. Because yeah, if we break through, so if we break through the green line here, yeah, okay. Okay. Because yeah, if we break through this, let me zoom back in. Oh, shoot. I hate it. I did not mean to have that moved. Oh, fetch, now I gotta go back in on the minute chart and zoom in. But yeah, if we were to, if we were to break through this 0% green Fibonacci retracement, well, no, we would need to do this, but we could, let's see, come on, let me expand this. And this actually is incomplete. Let me change this style to that. And I need to add this because we'll probably end. I think we would end somewhere around here, if anything. Or, let me draw one more diagram, one more trend line. Or we could even like frickin' retest the all-time high, which is, let me get a horizontal line here to represent that, 77.26. There we go, 77.26, that represents the all-time high. Let's make that a really thick purple line, just solid right there. Because yeah, I think we could see a retest. If we break out through that, like we'll definitely see a retest of the all-time high. I don't think we would break it, but we would definitely land in that channel. So let me come on, what's wrong with it? Oh, I'm just adding more horizontal lines. What am I doing? Of course, I need to add trend lines. That's what I want to do. Purple. Oh, that's the bolt. That's the zone I'm changing. I want to change the color of the line. It's already purple. I just need to add an arrow to the end of it. There we go. All right, so now let me zoom in to the mess I made, all those horizontal lines. Delete that. Delete that. All right, because yeah, we're within range to test the all-time high if we make a really big rip. We're within range. So yeah, I think that's all the possibilities that we would be looking at for tomorrow. I really don't think it would break through that just because the momentum has been so bullish and still is. So so I think those zones, I want to clean this up for the video, so I think I can get rid of these Fibonacci zones. That this will really clean up the views so you can see the channels that we're trading in. Yeah. Yeah, let me put out some trend lines here to show those. it maybe look better. No, yeah. I just want to get rid of that. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually just gonna keep recording. I'm just gonna make a screen recording while I'm doing this, and I'll just use that to make the single video all polished, but I'll go ahead and do the update after I get my last stand point for the day. And I'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Alright, there we go. Closed all my rings. Okay, let's make this video. Okay. Oh, I need to go to QuickTime Player. Alright, get in the zone here. I want to make this look all pretty. Yeah, I'll have those 2 days together in context. Actually, this might be prettier to do with the range I want to use it on the 30-minute chart. Go to auto again. No, 1 hour? Because yeah, we're just bouncing in between those channels. Alright, and let me reduce the visibility of some of these other indicators I've got. Nah, I'll just get used to it. I don't want to have to keep doing work here. Alright. And let me get these text labels clean out in the open here. Okay, I think I am ready. Actually, can expand that a little bit. Okay. Recording, new screen recording. All right, and here we go. Hey everybody, it is Malcolm from Marble Fox Studios again, here to give you your AMC update for the day. Within the news, they don't think there were any worthy mentions, so we'll just dive right into the technical analysis. So today's volume was at 213.98 million for the day, which altogether was less than yesterday. So for the past 3 days, we have been seeing less volume over time. Today's volume pivot was around $54. That is where most of AMC's trades occurred. Today we closed at $55.05, which is an increase of 0.09% from yesterday's close. Looking at the chart here, what we have is we have a potential new trajectory, a new support trajectory that AMC is following. If it respects this trajectory, we can expect to see the price in the pre-market tomorrow to follow that up into a what I would like to refer to as the octagon. It's a thunderdome where it's going to be heading to tomorrow morning if it follows the trend, because we have a major Fibonacci resistance and support levels right where right at open where it intersects the support line, and we are going to see likely we always see their biggest amount of volume right at the beginning of the day. And so what I think is going to happen is that with all that volume that we're going to see, we're going to be able to push right through those really strong Fibonacci levels and break all the way through to the next one. And I think that we're just going to see upward consolidation for the rest of tomorrow. So that way we keep respecting this new trend line. The trend line, it likes to pull things up to it, but it also likes to pull things down to it as well. So think of it as a center of gravity there. But if we have a really, really good morning, if we see a crazy ton of volume on the bullish side of things, we'll probably see a breakthrough of the bull zone. There's another Fibonacci resistance level right here that it'll probably have a false breakout on. It'll consolidate under it. We'll probably see another rip. And then with that other rip, if it really rips, we could see it. I think we might be able to see a test of the all-time high that was established back here before we hit that and drop back down. We'll probably hit plenty of volume exhaustion at that point there, if that happens. Otherwise, we'll probably just consolidate in the lower end of the bull zone. However, we need to consider all possibilities, and so if the crazy amount of volume that we're going to see tomorrow morning ends up being more bearish, I think what is most likely in that scenario is that we'll break downwards. It will break through another major Fibonacci zone here. It'll have a false breakout, and then we'll probably see sideways consolidation for another day. That's what I think will happen. And then if that were to happen, this trend line right here, that would be broken, and we would fall back. to our previous to a previous support trend that was established at the end of May, and we respected that when we had our big dip on Friday. Let me zoom back into here. If things do end up being really bad, though, we might see a breakdown out of that support trend and end up in the downward consolidation. But I think the absolute worst case scenario is that we break down halfway through the bear zone and then we consolidate for the rest of the day and hopefully keep heading back up. That's what I think all the possibilities are. If I were to, once again though, my main thesis that I think is going to happen tomorrow is that we are going to break upwards out of this pennant here, and we'll break through this Fibonacci level, and then we'll end an upward consolidation, and we'll just continue respecting this new trend that was established on Friday in the aftermarket. So that's what I got for the video. Please subscribe, drop a like if you like to see more, and you like what you see. So thank you for the video, or thank you for the, I really got to edit this, guys. All right, okay, it was great. This is it for me recording for today. So the one person who stuck with me pretty much the entire time, thank you so much. It was great to have you on, and appreciate the support, and I'll see you later. Have a nice day.